rebalancing at that point. So a lighter dose is just a 1 capsule twice a day. The standard dose is 2 capsules twice a day. And because there's not so many stages of life, we have one easy product for men. We are a little bit more complex, ladies. That's all there is to it. So again, this is using maca. It's our proprietary one here is maca OG, okay, instead of GO. And this is just a various blend that is specific towards male health and male hormonal health, I should say in particular. Some of the things that we see improvements in from a fertility standpoint, so sperm production and sperm motility. Improvements from prostate, although this is very highly individualized. It's not 100% the only thing you're ever going to do for your prostate, so it needs to be looked at as a whole. And there can still be some other support that may be needed. And then, as I said, definitely it's more of a dosing aspect in terms of taking revolution for men. From a fertility perspective, I'm jumping ahead just a little bit. Really important. I think a lot of times women get the short end of the stick with this, like, oh, it's all on you to become pregnant, and oh, it's all on your uterus, right? But it's a two-person gig, right? So supporting male hormone health and fertility or conception is just as important as supporting female. So women, if you're here to do that for fertility reasons, then you should be making sure that, husband, spouse, significant other is also doing that as well to produce the best outcome. Really quickly, just to feature one of our other products, as I said, our product line is small for very purposefully, so everything works together really well. One aspect in hormones and how they are metabolized and also detoxified is very important. Without getting into it, and as I told you, I kind of prefaced with, normally this is a 3+ hour class for me to provide some more detail with it, but we do detoxify hormones, and we need to, so there's not an excess buildup. So pH quintessence is just a very gentle detoxification support. It is made from alfalfa, which is grown in France, and by default then is non-genetically modified because it's not grown here. And it's a highly concentrated version, or a highly concentrated manufacturing process that we do. So essentially you're getting really high doses of greens. So if you've ever done greens drinks or greens powders or green supplements and you have to take like 15 of them, 15 capsules per dose, something like that, this is a 3 capsule a day dose because of the highly concentrated version that we've done with the alfalfa. We do remove all the allergens and phytoestrogens from the plant, so this is pretty safe for just about everybody, unless you have a very severe, obviously, alfalfa allergy, and in some cases, grass allergies. Other than that, this is a nice way to just help support the natural detoxification process. There's my fertility slide. So for men and women, Feminescence for women, Revolution for men, and then adding in some detox support from a fertility aspect.
Can you take detox or not running alongside the other one?
Absolutely. Yep.
So it won't interfere with them?
No, not at all.
Take my body.
Yep. No, this is all works together.
So how does it work?
How does it work? So, yeah. Well, so as a basic overview, just like your greens are beneficial to help with estrogen metabolism. So if you think about things like cruciferous vegetables that help to support the pathways. Correct. Like so it's getting into the detoxification pathways, which, like I say, that's more than what we're covering in today's class. And then sleep. So this goes back to, needless to say, if anybody's ever been sleep deprived, do you get moody? You feel agitated? And hungry. See there, right? And hungry, right? Your body's trying to still use the calories when you should be sleeping. I mean, you still use calories then, but just not as much. So sleep can have a very big impact on the overall hormonal picture. And if you're not sleeping and you feel those effects, you know it. I can tell you I'm a sleeper, and one night of not sleeping, I'm like, I don't know how any of y'all people do this without sleeping, because I feel like absolute, totally muddled in my head, not concentrating well, and a whole host of other things just off one bad night. So we have 2 different products, both are herbatonin. As was mentioned, this is the only plant plant-based melatonin on the market. So your other melatonins are synthetic. So really important is that's one key piece to it. The other key piece is the dosing aspect. So everybody has heard of melatonin, I'm assuming, in some fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see doses from like, well, now you see it in 0.3, but we see doses in 1 milligram, 3, 5, 10, 40, 10, you see, right? And we tend to have this concept in our head like, well, if 1 didn't work, 3 must be better. Oh, 3 didn't work, 5 must be better. 5 didn't work, let me try the 10. I'm still not sleeping, melatonin doesn't work. No. So that's not how this works. The body actually makes melatonin naturally in about 0.2 to 0.8 milligrams per day. It's part of your normal circadian rhythm. So, we should have higher energy in the morning and naturally come down, and when it gets dark out, melatonin production begins in about 0.2 to 0.8.
You're talking about ideal,
Correct.
but the government is 400 times as much.
Right, because there's antioxidant value too. We're talking from a sleep perspective. Yep. So the body naturally producing this to create a restful night's sleep. Right? So really important. If you're taking 5 milligrams, chances are you're going to wake up groggy. You might fall asleep for a little bit, but then wake up and have like the melatonin hangover, they often call it, where you feel kind of just like that, like a hangover, feel groggy and not with it. So the 0.3 dosing is the ideal dose to start off with. In some cases, some people will increase where they're taking 2, so it's the 0.6 milligram. But for your everyday dosing, 0.3 milligrams is pretty much all most people need. Yes. So the question is, does the body eventually balance out naturally, or do you continue? It varies. It varies, and I think a lot of that depends on how long you may have been deprived. So it depends. Some people use it occasionally, some people use it every day as their only way of sleeping. So it does depend. If your body's not able to produce melatonin, then you're dependent in that fashion. No. No, it does not. It does not. Yeah. But, yeah, it's absolutely, that's what it is. It's a negative, everything here works off a negative feedback loop, which is basically, think about your thermometer. If you set it at 70, once it gets to 70, it'll turn off automatically, right? So that is the basic concept of that negative feedback.
You might get into that habit by not following those super late practices, like sleeping in the dark room, watching TV until
Right.
11 o'clock, or
Right.
exposing yourself to the blue light spectrum.
Yep, so I'm getting to that. Hang with me, I'm getting to that. Yeah, there is the sleep aspect that, of course, there's the hormone aspect to it, but there's a lot of other factors, as he was just mentioning. I mean, if you are playing with your iPhone and iPad and watching TV in bright light at midnight, guess what? Your body is not getting that message of it's time for sleep. Right? This is becoming a big problem, especially now that a new study just came out with preschoolers. Because parents are pacifying their kids with an iPhone instead of reading a book to them. And so guess what? Now their preschoolers aren't sleeping. Like, kids are the best sleepers on the planet. Are you kidding me? We're interfering with this natural production. So there are these outside factors, and by all means, we always suggest that you look at those factors too. Because this is going to work, but not necessarily if you're up with blue light in your face all the time and you just drank a bucket of caffeine beforehand, things of that nature. So it is looking at the overall big picture. We do also have another dose which is designed, the 3 milligram dose is designed for shift work and jet lag. So this is more short-term use. So if you know you're traveling, grab a travel pack, take it with you to help from the jet lag perspective. And if you are doing night work or shift work, I should say, then the higher dose is typically needed. But for everyday sleep, the lower dose is appropriate, yeah. Yeah. Right. to go back because I did kind of, I mean, this is like just a vision of it. Basically, from the synthetic version, the two most common places that melatonin comes from is typically pigs or cows from their pineal gland, or it's made from like some petroleum source. Yeah, right? Gross. Right? You don't necessarily know that. So herbatonin is coming from plants. It's the plant's natural or bioidentical hormones that is found naturally in plants. Okay, so the other thing, and this is where, like I said, we can go on and on and on. You can't do any of this and then forget about the diet. Like, you don't take Feminescence or Revolution, pH Quintessence, and go to McDonald's. Not going to happen, right? Like, it's about the whole lifestyle piece. So the diet is very important. There are foods that are much more beneficial to hormone balancing than others, if you will. For instance, cruciferous vegetables help in aiding detoxifying the body. So you will metabolize things like estrogen more effectively. Fat and protein. A lot of people are afraid of fat, although we're getting better with it. But fat and protein are the backbones to your hormones. If you're not getting enough of those, you're not giving the nutrients that your body needs to even make those hormones properly. So you've got to have fat and protein in your diet. And usually a pretty significant amount. So a paleo-style diet is pretty nice for hormones. It's not the only option out there, but it does help to eliminate a lot of the common food triggers. Dairy and gluten are big problems for a lot of people. It's not just height, they're big problems for a lot of people. But by default, when you get rid of some of those, you go towards fat, protein, and vegetables. And we're all not getting enough of those on a regular basis. Can't forget about the exercise, but this is a piece where you've got to do it appropriately and very much customize it for you. Just because CrossFit and high-intensity interval training is the new it thing doesn't mean it's good for you. And it can actually be a stress to your body. If your adrenals are fatigued in any way, shape, or form, those type of workouts are going to be disastrous for you. Okay, I promise. And I get people all the time, I'm doing it 6 days a week and I'm still not losing weight. Right, because now your body is stressed out even more from what you're asking of it. So finding a program that's right for you. Good old walking is still a great way to exercise. Right? Get out and walk, get your Fitbit, get whatever little device you want, get 10,000 plus steps in, make it work, and just be more active. Same thing too, this takes into the whole lifestyle aspect of the fact that many of us sit all day long. I am one, I have an office, I sit, however I went and got I spent a little money on it, but I got a walking treadmill desk so I can walk while I talk to people. It was the best thing on the planet. I added like 4 to 5 miles a day on top of what I already did that I normally would have been sitting. Again, it's not for everybody, it works for me, it works for my office, so it's a good thing. The other aspect is the stress management. This is a whole class, right? Stress management, you're not going, by all means I recognize and understand you're not going to eliminate it, but how we respond to stress can change. The thing is, everybody has it ingrained in them already. If somebody makes you mad, before you can even think, you have your reaction, right? Been there? Somebody makes you mad, you already know. And then you might go like, oh boy, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have said that, I wish I didn't do this, right? And the brain had a little time to catch up and go, that wasn't the right approach. So really from a stress management standpoint, this takes time. And it takes a regular, consistent practice. So you can learn how to deal with it better. Not going to eliminate it, although some things you may need to, right? Some people are in very toxic relationships, jobs, etc. And sometimes you need to purge and maybe move on to something else. But a lot of times it's just figuring out how to work with it. And then another really important piece is don't underestimate what your prescriptions might be doing to your hormones, right? There are a lot of side effects to prescriptions that create symptoms like hot flashes, mood swings, changes in sleep, weight gain, right? Just take a peek and know so you're well informed. I'm not saying that you need to go on and stop it by any means. You've got to talk to your doctor about that. But be aware of what might be causing the symptoms because it may be hormonal, but it may be also a symptom of a prescription that you're on. So, we have a few minutes for questions. I did put contact information up there. Just so you know, we have, as I mentioned, a medical medical team that answers questions for consumers, for the stores, for doctors, and that's what we're there for. We're there to help with those questions. Limited, as I had mentioned, in terms of all kinds of advice. We can give some general guidance to help you with any concerns there. So while we have just a couple minutes anyway, I'll take a few more questions. Yeah. Yep. So here's the thing with all medications, as a general rule, just take it an hour away from any medication. Very particular with thyroid medication, because thyroid medication should be taken away from everything, at least an hour away from everything. Pardon? Yeah. Oh no, that's okay. Yeah. You should wait an hour before you do anything. Eat, drink coffee, anything. For sure with thyroid. If what? Well, that's where I can help you work on that. It depends. I mean, a lot of times there's many prescriptions that are taken together. But from a feminescence standpoint, you do want to take it an hour away from that thyroid medication. And then again, you monitor. Because this is working at HPA-TG axis. So the thyroid can be very positively influenced and start to produce hormones properly without the use of prescription. So you need to monitor your thyroid levels and make adjustments in dosing of your prescription as needed.
So that being said, is this something
you got to talk to your doctor about it.
I mean, it has that potential.
Yes, it does. But you've got to monitor your levels and work with your doctor on that. Yeah.
Do you use iodine or anything?
It's very customized. It depends on what's going on with the thyroid. If you have Hashimoto's, iodine might not be a good choice. So you've got to really know what's going on with the thyroid.
And you say to work with
You have email and phone access to the whole medical team. Yep. Yep. Question? I thought I saw something. No? Absolutely. Absolutely. As a general rule of thumb, I've been in this industry for a while, and the general rule is always you got to give everything at least 12 weeks. The body takes time, right? So while you can notice things beforehand, to really make impacts on the cellular level, the body needs time. So, and this is no different. Okay. So it's anywhere from 30 to 120 minutes before bed. So big range. Start off with 30 minutes, and if that's not doing the trick after 3 to 5 days, try an hour before. And give it a 3 to 5 day window from there.
Is feminescence a good postnatal? Like, is that okay to take it as a postnatal, like, while you're still
Oh,
nursing?
good question. So feminescence should not be used while nursing.
Okay.
There is potential of interfering with milk supply.
Okay.
So for a lot of women, then it becomes an issue of, well, I'm only nursing one time a day now or infrequently, so I'm willing to do this knowing that that's a risk because I really got to get this symptom under control. But we don't recommend it during breastfeeding.
Okay.
Oh, so the question is on melatonin with anybody, in particular 12-year-olds. We don't recommend this as the first choice for any children. We recommend the lifestyle things first. Yeah, there is a lot of studies around melatonin in children. However, there's a big lifestyle piece there that needs to be addressed first before jumping into this.
Kim, I just want to say, I think we talked about it on the show, that Chris Killen, if anyone knows who he is he's called the Medical Explorer. He's a world-renowned. He's written a lot of books, and he did a video of his trip to Peru and just lived with the people there for a while. And it was fascinating because they had a maca festival. So they had liquor made out of maca, they had pancakes made out of maca. And he showed it in the video, booth to booth, and there's something made it from maca. But the point he was making, and he also wrote a lot of books on, libido and things like that, sexual health, how the people in their 80s and 90s enjoy a very healthy sex life and are also very productive at that age. And this is kind of like their main food up there. And this plant only grows in that altitude, so it's such a hardy thing.
Yeah,
So it's really amazing.
One of the neat things about the research behind it, even so much as seeing the differences in the elevation, so much as I will tell you, our CEO, I love him to death, but he is the most detailed person I've ever met in my life. Where he has actually studied maca in the sense of even so much as to the lunar phases. How does it grow with the lunar phases, and what active constituents come out as a result of the lunar phases? Okay? He didn't mess around here. So we're seeing how all of this stuff makes a difference. So the elevation and the soil quality and things of that nature really impact then what active constituents you're able to get from the maca. So this is where it goes back to, it's not all created the same. And now there's many sources. China has gotten on the maca bandwagon, and there's a lot of maca coming from China. That there's, she goes, we're not feeling that too much. But yeah, they're on the maca bandwagon in China. So not sure how that's going to turn out considering what we know about this growing. So yeah. Say something about China. Why should maca? Yeah, absolutely. If you just think about, and if she was saying the nutrient value to any food, the soil plays such a big role in it. The environment, the atmosphere in which food is grown. If you've all grown your own tomatoes, you know how very different it is than the one you get at the grocery store that was picked when it was green and has no flavor, right? I mean, it's all of those things can make a difference for sure, and this is no different. I think I saw somebody's hand.
How much is the melatonin supplement?
I'm sorry.
How much is the melatonin? The herbal-tilvin.
The store can tell you. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I answer all the technical questions. I have no idea pricing.
It's about $13.
$13.
Yeah, but there's 90 capsules in the box.
Oh, that's a lot.
You can compare it to a 30 capsules.
Yeah.
bottle of synthetic.
Yeah. So that's basically a 3-month supply that you're getting. And one of the things too that you see everything in the box. One of the things that's pretty neat is we blister pack everything, and we do that for a quality quality purposes. But one of them in particular, maca is very fragile, so it really can be affected by heat and moisture. So the blister packs really help to preserve its integrity essentially. When left out in a bag or container, things like that, it can lose between 50 to 60% of the active constituents because of the exposure to heat and moisture and air. So the blister packs, I mean, we do it not just because they look nice, but we do it for quality reasons too. And it makes it really easy because you're taking this a couple times a day. It's easy to put a blister pack in your purse and go, or leave one at the office and go. You don't have to carry a big bottle around both places. Any other questions?
There is an extra 10% off everything today having to do with this product line, okay? And
Thank
we
you
also
very
have a
much for
sign-off.
mentioning it.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, anyone who wants to be part of our email list, we get an extra discounts, et cetera, on here.